All right, what's up, everybody? It's Trevor. Um, Usually I do gaming and shit here, but I'm gonna start doing like playthroughs and reviews and shit of games. And the first one I'm gonna do is Final Fantasy 16. This has been out a while, so there's gonna be spoilers. So if you haven't played the game, I'd fucking move on past because I'm gonna be talking about a lot. I have like a list on my phone here that I made of like pros and cons of the game. So if I keep looking down, that's why I'm looking at this that I made. So um, this game I was anticipating for a long time. I remember it was like the first trailer was in 2020 maybe, and it looked so dope. And then I didn't watch another trailer after that because I didn't want anything to be spoiled for me. I wanted to go into it with a clean mind, not knowing nothing. So eventually, the game came out, and I didn't play the demo. There was a demo that came out. Didn't really fuck with that because like I said, I wanted it to be fresh. So I played it like I had the timer on my PS5, count down, all that shit. I played it as soon as it hit zero. I was ready. So there's two modes you can do. You can do like the story mode, and then you can do the action focused story, which I did the action focused because it's more like normal mode. Um, but this is my impression like of the game basically. So the story was great. I mean, from the very beginning, it's like interesting. It draws you in. It's beautiful. I mean, it really is like a next gen game basically. Like, I don't think there's another game that's come out recently that I can say God of War Ragnarok. That was a good one. I guess there's been a couple, but this was one of the ones that you could tell that it's fucking like it's next gen for sure. Uh, the story could be a little confusing at times because it was so in depth and so political, and there were all these different countries and people doing what they wanted to do, like their motives clashing with other people's. It was a lot to follow at first, but you get used to it after a while. It ties together. Uh, so there was that. The characters were really good. Jill was a good character. Clive was awesome. I loved him as an MC. Um, Joshua was really good. I'm trying to think who else. Sid was fucking amazing. I feel like everybody's favorite's gonna be Sid. Like I like the way they switched him up like that. Because usually he's not really that important to the story, but I feel like even though he wasn't around that long, he was still, you know, a pretty massive plot character. So that was cool. And then Torgal, he was, I mean, he was the real MC. I mean, shit, he was the best. um, so as far as the story goes, summed up, it was good, kind of confusing. It was a good amount. It wasn't too long. It wasn't too short. I feel like the ending was the ending. Clive and Joshua died. I was kind of confused about the boys playing at the end with the book that said Final Fantasy 16. My first thoughts about that when I saw that was that it was all fake. Like the story wasn't real, that they were just reading a book that someone wrote. I could be wrong, but that was my first interpretation of it. Don't know. But it was a good story. Gameplay. The gameplay was really different for Final Fantasy, even compared to 15. Like 15 was a hack and slash, but I still feel like it was closer to what we had before. But with 16, it's just wiped the slate clean. It's like they just completely tried something new here, which is cool. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It gives you a lot of different powers by the time you and like by the time you're done with the game. Lots of different icons and lots of different abilities you can mix and match depending on how far you've upgraded them. So that was kind of refreshing, kind of new. Some of them I didn't use too much, like Shiva's I didn't use too much. Besides like the Cold Snap or Diamond Dust, I used mostly like what was it, Rising Flame, and then I used like some Bahamut's and then Odin's because there's some that you just can't get rid of. They're just so good, so powerful. But the other ones I kind of like to mix and match and play with, and it's pretty fun. Uh, let's see. The fact that you're always getting like a new sword, like you constantly are doing hunts and getting items and going to the blacksmith and you crafting a new sword. I like that because you get to look at it and be like, okay, it's pretty fucking cool. Uh, and then the movement in gameplay and the combat is really smooth. It feels effective. It feels like when you hit someone with the sword, like you hit them. Like it feels like effect effective, I guess, if that makes sense. And then when you get the parries and shit like that, and then the dodging, I love the fucking dodging. If you have, there's an item you can have on where if you dodge at the right time, you'll get like an extra attack increase, and that was really fucking cool. Always had that on. Um, but yeah, there was a lot of different aspects of the gameplay that was fucking dope. I mean, I really enjoyed it. It was something different for sure. Um, so onto like the world building. I think the map, the whole like destinations you go to. I think each destination was unique, and you had a lot of different places you could go to like explore, and that kind of ties in with the hunt system. Like you go to Moogle, and he'll give you like like a description of the hunt and then where it's located. But sometimes it doesn't give you any hints. You kind of have to decipher through the description or look it up. But the thing is, even if it does tell you where the hunt is at, you might not have that place unlocked yet. So you just have like a vague, you know, um, thought like it could be in Sambrek or Rosaria. You don't know where. So you have to go kind of search it down. So that kind of gives incentive to search the world a little bit. Final Fantasy mode. It's after you beat the game, and it unlocks like this super hard mode, basically New Game Plus, and you have all your stuff. Your level stays the same. You have all your icons, your accessories, your guild, everything transfers over. But the enemies are also scaling, meaning that when you go into New Game Plus, you won't be fighting a new level 1 enemy. They'll be like up to your like 50, 60 level, and then it just goes up from there. And that can be really challenging when you get to higher level hunts and shit and bosses. Shit had me sweating a little bit. Like it's hard, I mean, which compared to like the first playthrough was super easy. I died like 2 times maybe. Not hard at all. Really, I mean, it was kind of too easy, but it was still fun. It was still enjoyable. But yeah, Final Fantasy mode. I wish that it would have been available from the beginning. Although I see why it's not because of the scaling. I guess I don't know. Maybe they could have done something else with it. Um, but it felt kind of like a Souls game, like with the new potion system. Like you got potion and then like a defensive or offensive item and then a high potion or whatever you set there. So you can, I think you start off with maybe 3 heals in total, but then you do side missions and it goes up and you can get more. But in that sense, it felt like a Souls game kind of. And I like the fact that like you have to stagger them because that's kind of been an on and off thing with Final Fantasy. So that's pretty good. I mean, that was pretty good in that whole section of it. The music was fucking amazing, especially during the cinematics when you get to see Clive transform into like Ifrit, and then fucking Bahamut's theme and Joshua's when they're fighting together, and the Titans. Like all the icon fights were fucking fantastic. Like they were just perfect. I mean, so fun. They were beautiful. Like it was so great to fight all of them. That's probably one of the highlights of the game. Was like it kind of felt like Monster Hunter World, but also kind of like the original God of War, like 3, with when you're on just massive bosses and massive fight scenes. It's crazy good. It was dope. And then let's see. Um, I really think that's about it that I have to say for like the pros. I mean, I kind of went over everything like that. It was great. It felt like a fresh start to, if they want to keep trying different stuff, go for it. I know some people don't like the fact that it's not turn based anymore, but what are you gonna do? I mean, it's you can still enjoy it. Like even if it doesn't feel like Final Fantasy to you, it's still a good game. It still has a lot of aspects that you can enjoy, in my opinion. But now I'm gonna go to the stuff I didn't like, the cons. But I'm gonna start off with the story also. And I kind of mentioned this before, but it was kind of confusing. There were some parts where I just was like, what the fuck, God damn. But eventually, like I said, it ties in. But during those times when it's kind of going off trail a little bit, I mean, it just can be kind of just like confusing as hell, I guess. And not really. It's kind of my own problem, I guess. Maybe some other people understood it better. Uh, but the combat also is kind of the next thing I have a little gripe with. Like I said, for the most part, I enjoy the combat, but it can just get really repetitive at times. Like it's really just a hack and slash, um, which is nothing wrong with that at all. And like I said, it has those abilities you can change up and do that, but you know, it just really feels kind of generic sometimes. Like when you're going through waves and waves of enemies, it's just like there's only so much you can do with hacking and slashing. Yeah, you can do combos and you can mix abilities, but I don't know. It's just the way I see it. I mean, it's kind of like a little gripe to me, but nothing major. I mean, it's nothing like game breaking. It's still fun. Torgal, while I do love Torgal, he was kind of fucking useless besides getting air enemies down and then healing a little bit. Other than that, I didn't use him. I really didn't even bother using him to heal that much because he doesn't heal that much, to be real. I mean, it's kind of useless, kind of a waste of time. Might as well just use potions. Uh, but he's good to have there. I mean, in case you need him. In case you need him. Um, I didn't like the fact that there was no sense of teamwork at all in this game. Like it felt like yeah, you had Jill and you had, let's just say, Jill and Joshua. You had them, right? They were fighting with you, but it really didn't feel like it. And because it's like it just feels like you're the one doing all the damage. You're the one that's center frame. There is no switching to them to give them commands like besides Torval. But maybe that's what's so new about this one is there is no sense of teamwork. It's you. You are like center frame. That's it. Clive. And like I'm used to, I mean everyone else is even 15 like you had some sense of teamwork, but this one is like nope, it's completely out of the picture, which kind of drives it away from the point of it feeling like Final Fantasy because that's like one of the most important things that makes those games is the teamwork and the party system, and it's just gone in this one, and it's disappointing, but it is what it is. The side quests are another. This is my biggest gripe in this fucking game is the side quests. The side quests were bad in Final Fantasy VII Remake. That was my biggest problem with those because while the idea of some of the side quests were cool, I don't want to go fucking look for cats and I don't want to fucking deliver shit to people in the same village. Like, why don't you get someone else to do that? Like after a main fucking arc in the story, you go to these side quests and you're just like disappointed because you're taking fucking soup to people. You're going to track down a letter. I mean, it's so fucking stupid sometimes, man. It just kills the vibe. That's my biggest gripe is these side quests, man. And there are some good side quests that you know go with the story, but not many at all. And so I don't know, man. I just the side quests really killed the vibe for me sometimes. Sometimes the music the music was really good, but kind of the same. It got kind of repetitive after a while. If you're not in a cinematic or a boss fight, I found myself just turning the music off and listening to my own music, like other Final Fantasy music, and it kind of upped the vibe a little bit. That's nothing too major. It's just me, but it just like when you're just exploring the world, it just didn't seem very like the music wasn't that great to me, to be real. And then also, I think one of the last things I'm gonna say that's a con was like the items and the accessories. Starting off with the items, like you're going through the world and you see like little blue speck and you're like, oh, that must be something good. And you pick it up and it's like something that you have 70,000 of already and that you've never going to use, you never will use, especially when like you're in a high profile area and you're fighting a lot and you're having to use potions on Final Fantasy mode, and you need a potion bad, and you go up and you pick something up and it's a fucking like a like a useless item that you'd never use. It's so dumb, and I'm like, dude, it just feels pointless. Or it'll be like 2 gil. I'm like, really, 2 gil? Which, yeah, whatever. But that was my gripe with that. It's just the items just are useless. Might as well not even have anything there unless it's a potion or whatever. And then accessories. So you get six, I think, six accessory slots. Three are like your like clothing stuff. I forgot exactly how it works, but most of the accessories are just there to enhance barely your abilities. I never ever use those. What I used was like get double ability points for every encounter, or I think you use that one, and then I use the if you dodge at the last second, you can get a attack bonus. So I did that one, but the accessories not really that helpful. I never changed them. I never There was no point. I mean, really, it's just kind of stupid. But that's pretty much all I have to say about it. I mean, I went over the good, I went over the bad. Like, the story's great. It has its really high points. In some ways, it's in some parts of the story, it's like one of the best. I mean, you just and in some places it's the weakest. It can be the weakest, but I think that they did really good. Some people I've seen hate this game, some people love it, but I think I'm kind of in the middle. I don't hate it. By all means, I don't hate it, but I don't see myself coming back to play it. It's not very replayable. Like, once I beat it on Final Fantasy mode and I'm working on platinuming that, I'm not probably not going to come back and play this as much as I even go back to 15. If we're going to be honest, like, I kind of like 15 better, but like I said, 15 by all means has its cons too. Like, it's nothing perfect. No game is, but 16 was very fun, and it was a very fun journey. Like I said, but I can't see myself coming back to play it that often. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If I had to give this game a rating, 1 through 10, probably give it like probably a 7.5. I think is a good number for this one. And I heard that there's supposed to be some DLC coming out. We'll see. That would be interesting. Don't know if it's true or not, but we'll see. But yeah, anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching, and next time I'll um, find something else.